What do we got here?
Detective, we got this kid in from customs. He's got some artwork in his pocket. They look like cartoons. What kind of art is this?
I draw what I know. I draw what I see. I've studied everybody. I studied Van Gogh, and he drew the world how he saw it and the skies how he saw it. For me, sometimes the world is bright, and sometimes it's dark, like today.
I wouldn't worry. It's not going to work. It's not going to amount to much.
Who is this kid?
I'm Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Everybody says they're from New York, especially when it's the first place they hear from. Why should we believe you?
Well, I grew up in Brooklyn, and I absolutely love my hometown. All I did there was draw. I would write Samo on different buildings, and when I was younger, at 101, I would draw all the time, and I absolutely love my upbringing, my family. I wouldn't be anything without my family. There was quite some time where I was house hopping, and I just had so many friends that they would let me come over, and I would stay there and perfect my craft. And my dad didn't always love it. He thought that I should pick something steadier, but slowly it really caught on, and now I get to do what I love. I just hate that people keep calling me homeless, and they would step over me and really just say anything they thought of. But now that I'm doing solo exhibitions, I really have a name that's known. And my new place is out in Chelsea. People keep coming over all the time. I just saw my sister, and she smelled a bit like hamburgers. It reminded me of the burgers my dad used to bring us. He used to bring us White Castle, and I really like my mom's cooking better. She was from Puerto Rico, so all the dishes they just smelled so great. So many, just the best.
So your mom told you about Puerto Rico?
No, we lived there for 2 years. It was absolutely beautiful. My mom, she told us all about it, but one day my dad, he came home and he just yelled out, "Hey, we're going to be moving to Puerto Rico." And he was not joking at all. When we got there, it was absolutely beautiful. The water was clear, and the air was filled with smells. So many traditional meals. Sofrito.
That's a kind of seasoning.
We lived right next to the beach, so we went to the beach all the time.
And that's where you learned to draw?
No, I've always known how to draw. It's just within me. When I went to PS 101, I would draw, and I would do our newsletters. My mom, she showed me anatomy. She took me to the Brooklyn Museum, and we would check it out. So much that I became a junior member there. And no, it's how I see the world. Anything I grab, I'll paint. I used to write Samo on all the words and all the walls I could see. Any street, marking and just, I need music and just things to get me into a great zone where I can paint the things that I never saw in art. Black faces with crowns, bebop, jazz, just everything that I can imagine. As soon as I can get my hands on a stick, I'll draw it. And I used to do music. I used to really even have a punk band, but my girlfriend, I'm leaving that to her. She's really much better at music than I am, and I think she might become pretty great someday.
Who's the girlfriend?
Madonna.
Hey, how was the show the other night?
It was good, you know, I always will have my critics, but my fans made it all much better.
I'm so tired of these critics. They killed me at Andy's show, and they don't like us at all, it seems like. And I don't know, they can't paint, they can't do anything. They don't even understand it. And now they're calling me a savage, and just all the names are ridiculous.
That's crazy. You know, we'll always have our critics, but we were born to be stars.
I believe it. Wait, I heard something happened to your car?
Yes. I got a walkout. Somebody keyed the side of my car. Somebody was inside of it, and I have no idea how they got in.
Inside?
Inside of my car.
Inside of?
Yes. And that's why I'm nervous to walk the streets alone. In New York, it's just so dangerous for a woman.
It's getting crazy.
It is.
I was on a show and they called me buckwheat, and then I told them what happened to me at the movie theater. I said, hey, it's time to start boycotting. And the first thing they said was, no, we can't boycott. If we boycott there, we'll have to boycott everywhere. So they just wanted to stay the same, you know, and it's not cool at all.
No. That's, you know, it's not fair how people think they can treat others differently just because the color of their skin. It's not fair at all. You're a great person.
All right. I have to go. I'll see you after your show.
All right, I hope to see you later.
You guys really won't like my newest work.
What's it called? You know, he said he's homeless. He smells like he's homeless.
Yeah, he looks like he came out of the subway.
Subway rat, huh?
Yeah. He's got a nice suit, though, so, you know.
Who puts on a suit and smells like that? I mean, he smells like he didn't even take a bath.
It's clear he's been through some hard times. I admit he smells
But
pretty bad.
this is about hygiene. I mean, you want to bring him into the country? I mean, and then what's this sofrito stuff? What is that?
No,
what is that stuff? Is that a drug or something he's bringing in?
I've heard of that before.
You heard of it before?
Been to some Puerto Rican restaurants.
Oh, and then you think he's Puerto Rican, right? He looks Puerto Rican to you?
Lots of people come from Puerto Rico.
Lots of people come from Puerto Rico, but none of them look like him. Are you telling me he looks like he's Puerto Rican?
I think he looks like he's not a threat, and I don't think that we should hold him up with us anymore.
You're going to let him in. That's on you.
I've been really saddened by what you guys did to Michael Stewart.
Oh, what we did? Who are you talking about? Huh?
They hog-tied him.
Who's they? Who are you talking about?
They hog-tied him, and then they choked him to death.
Who are you talking about? You talking about us? You're not talking about us, are you?
America has to be a better place than this. I wish it was a world where things like this wouldn't happen again.
You know, you're out of line right now.
You're out of line.
I'm out of line. Get this son of a bitch out of here. And get a picture.
You want the copy?
Why would I want a copy?
Sometimes I feel trapped. This art, it still brings me joy, power, freedom. And the more they say I shouldn't, the more I will. More black faces, black history. But this time, with crowns.
serious.
That's your intro.
Jean-Michel.
All right. So tonight after this really good meal, I want to go to the movies, right? See Taxi Driver, which is like my favorite movie, I think. So I went to this movie on 48th and 8th, this theater. And then when I got there, I put my $10 in the window. The lady disappeared for a minute and came back, gave me back my $10 and said, "No music, man. This is serious."
It's a mistake.
Don't look at your legs. So I was like denied entrance to a movie theater, and
Why?
What?
which is, they said it was my appearance, that I looked like a bum, But it never happened to me before. I just sort of like,
Don't go to that movie theater.
so this is why I'm here now, right? This is my appeal to boycott the Hollywood Twin Cinema, which is, they show good movies, but after that,
Everyone wants someone to prohibit something. There's always like a restaurant they serve the coffee wrong or something, or someone couldn't use the men's room and stuff.
Oh, this was a sleazy movie theater.
Well, but I mean, if we boycotted everything everyone wanted to boycott, you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't go on the buses. You couldn't take a taxi.
Well, you couldn't take a
even go to the
taxi
fucking
because how many times?
underground or go to a restaurant for Christ's
tell
sake.
you.
What?
Glenn, this is what happens in New York. It's just widespread now.
Hello? Hello?
Chris,
What?
let me ask you something. This is really something this week. How did you get a buckwheat to appear this week? I thought he was dead. Wasn't
Hello?
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 What?
No,
Yes.
it really is something, though. What, are you going to get alfalfa next week with Spanky, too, or what?
Yeah, we're making a comeback.
Hey, bro, let me ask you something. Didn't you snatch my chain last week on the subway? Huh?